And welcome back to Hannity as we continue live. We're in the spin room in Atlanta, and tonight, mass panic in the Democratic Party. Donald Trump had an amazing night, an amazing debate. Joe Biden delivered what was probably the worst debate performance in the modern televised history of presidential debates. Here's yet another sad moment from your president. Take a look.
I've changed it in a way that now you're in a situation where there are 40% fewer people coming across the border illegally. That's better than when he left office. And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look, we had the safest border in the history of our country.
Banned here. All right, following the debate, President Trump walked off the stage. Well, Joe Biden was greeted by Jill, who appeared to help him walk off the stage. Here now, Florida Senator, actually my senator from my home state, Florida, the free state of Florida. Mark, by the way, I apologize for, you have some constituents.
Keep bragging it up. Absolutely. We're happy to have you.
First, let me ask you, your name is prominent now as a potential vice president. And how do you feel about that?
Well, first of all, one person makes that choice, and he's got a lot of really good people to pick from. And we got like 10 or 12 people that are better than Kamala Harris or anybody they can come up with. So I think anybody who's considered for that should be honored. And if you have an opportunity to serve our country at that level, especially now with the disaster that we're facing, that's what Trump talked about tonight. The two things I got from tonight's debate was, number one, life was better under Donald Trump. Americans had more money in their pocket. The world was a safer place. America was more respected. We didn't have 8 or 9 million people here illegally roaming around, including a bunch of criminals and terrorists among them. So I think that point came across. But the other point that came across was the sense of urgency. That we are now at this tipping point where we can't afford another year like the last 3 years. And so that was really that sense of urgency I think we should all share. So whether it's in the Senate or an opportunity to serve alongside a president who I know will do what he says, those are the kinds of things that you would take very seriously and consider. But again, no one's talked to me about it, and one guy makes that decision. He's going to make a great choice.
I say this, and I just feel that this country has been so good to me. I know you tell your life story. It's so compelling. And I feel like I've had an undeserved life when I consider that my parents both grew up poor, my mom the prison guard, my dad family court probation guy and a waiter on weekends. And I've never been this worried about the state of the country or the state of the world. And I've been pointing out now for over 4 years Joe Biden's cognitive issues. And now all of a sudden, with 130 days out, the rest of the Democratic Party and this corrupt media mob behind me, they all of a sudden caught up and realized, he's got a problem,
Yeah, look, I think we saw tonight what we've been seeing now for a number of years, and it's only progressively worse. See, earlier today I was watching, they were putting a video of the debate just 4 years ago. It's dramatically different from what he was just 3 or 4 years ago. But let me tell you why that's relevant. It's not just about making fun of the guy or whatever. It's also about this. They're going to watch this debate, or did, in Beijing and in Moscow and in Tehran, and you worry that adversaries will see that and conclude from it they got a weak president. And it also makes you wonder, by the way, who's actually making and calling the shots in that White House. I think increasingly it's pretty clear that this administration is being run by a bunch of deranged radicals. You see it in their public policy. So there's a lot to unpack there. It's unfortunate for the country, but it's the reality, and we saw it today.
This is the economy. It's a disaster. Joe didn't seem to understand it. The border, President Trump went back to it again and again. I was so grateful to hear him mention the names of, we have a 13-year-old girl brutally raped in broad daylight in New York, a 12-year-old girl, ravaged for 2 hours, murdered in Houston, Texas, a mother of 5 murdered, Laken Riley, and the list goes on. It has to stop.
Every day there's a new story about it. And look, these guys from this gang in Venezuela that have come into the country, they were criminals in Venezuela.
They're sending them here.
And they're coming here. And then you've got people they've got the guy that is actually fleeing murder charges in El Salvador that came here and murdered someone. So it's case after case after case. And now we find out today, breaking news report, that, which I've known for a while, they're looking now for upwards of 50 to 400 people who were trafficked here by ISIS. I asked the FBI director about this months ago. This is a very dangerous situation.
4 times in a row, he said it's the worst it's ever been.
It is.
Senator, thank you for coming by. Good to see you.
You.
We appreciate it. All right, Senator Marco Rubio.